Face the Nation. This is the final round. Gentlemen, you'll be given 1 minute to answer your final question. I'd like to start with Dr. Nishant Dimel. So much of debate and so much of dissenting views. Dr. Dimel, how do you think these multiple stakeholders need to work together to resolve issues? You made some very important points, specifically about how we need to rely on data analysis as opposed to unsubstantiated opinion. Over and above that, how do we go about towards a smooth, sustainable era in terms of power and energy, given the fact that all the stakeholders are in dissent?
So I think the first foundation is exactly what I said, that you have the quality of information needs to be good. It needs to be well researched, subject to scrutiny, and the analysis must be something that drives, as Asoka said, you must have scientific analysis that drives decision making. I also think that currently we have an industry structure that Damita talked about, where historically regulation, generation, transmission, all of that has been in one institution. Regulatory economics tells us that that trifurcation is important, that you have to separate these roles and allow different people to do regulation, different people to do generation, different people to do transmission, and that you create an accountability and decision-making structure that is much improved by doing that. Now, obviously, as Dr. Bhattagoda says, the CEB, historically having had monopoly power over everything, you might find resistance as you try to make those improvements. And I think Dr. Bhattagoda has the unenviable challenge of how to navigate those improvements in the structure of the industry as the secretary, and I think we sympathize with him thoroughly on that front, yes.
All right, thank you very much. Mr. Damita Kumar Singha, my next question is to you. As the regulatory body with regard to electricity, it is imperative that there is a positive working relationship between your organization as well as the CEB, as well as other stakeholders involved in the energy sector. Now, further to this discussion, how are you going to navigate through that?
No, actually, Sonali, now it's like this. PUC is the regulator, CEB is the implementation arm, and the ministry is the policy maker. Now, the moment you accept the roles of these three institutions, I think the problem is solved, number one.
Right.
Number two, as Nishant said, I am also a stern believer on the figures, the facts, and the analysis.
Right.
And you have to, if somebody is not agreeing with other party, you have to counter it professionally. If you counter it professionally on paper,
right,
on research,
right,
anybody would listen. Now, all these papers what I have quoted were outcomes of our research, which we have put out. It's on the public domain. We have sent to the all relevant parties.
Right.
In the generation plan, which has gone through so many two public consultations with so many people, so many categories of people, from government institutions to experts to general public to environmentalists have given their views, and all views are taken into account, including CEB's views. And this plan consists of the plans which are taken as candidate plans in the CEB plan itself and nothing more, right? So if you look at all these documents, if you look at all the stakeholder comments, and you realize the roles of these three, and as long as you don't try to negotiate on two non-negotiable things, the matter should be sorted out. Energy security and the least cost. Those are non-negotiable in the generation plan.
Right. Okay. Dr. Bhattagoda, further to this conversation, which took almost 2 hours now, are you willing to work with the PUCSL who is the regulator, and is the CEB willing to work with the PUCSL? And the word professionally was mentioned several times, the word data analysis was mentioned several times. So since we undertook to provide a solution to this tug of war, can you give us that undertaking on behalf of the country, really?
So in fact, as a secretary, I have a difficult task. Correct. CB on the one hand say they are doing well professional analysis, data collections, well sound data, they are very reliable, they think their data is well much correct. PUC at the same time say they are also professional analyzing all these things, but they are disagreeing. Right? But my personal opinion is I am in the middle, I have listened to the government, I have listened to you all, I have listened to everybody, and I am trying to balance.
But moving away from opinion and moving forward.
So now my opinion is actually,
how do we find a solution?
My solution is both, in fact, PUCSL also should not be too much bossy. As a regulator, they also must listen to the CEB somewhere. So otherwise, it doesn't work. I mean you have to listen to
I think I think the PUCSL is acting according to its mandate. Am I right?
Regulator means you are not bossy all the time. You have to listen to the stakeholders. So CEB is a major stakeholder. And as you say, if some debate or point is not correct, and positive, constructive discuss and come up with.
All right, but Dr. Badagoda, will you give an undertaking to work in collaboration with
in fact, I am always working with them. In my yesterday was a meeting every day.
All right, so great.
2 years, I am trying to bring them together, and sometimes I am taking personal responsibility and to settle this.
All right, thank you very much. Finally, Mr. Asoka Abegunawardena, at the end of this 2-hour discussion, my final question to you is, how successful do you think Sri Lanka will be in moving towards a sustainable, renewable energy era, given the current context?
Yeah, actually now, as you mentioned, the world is moving away from the fossil fuel era to a new era. It's sustainable era. And we are in transition. So it's very important for us to, based on science rather than on opinion, how to change this setup and go to a new era. So what scientific knowledge we should utilize. So to that extent, I think we have an opportunity here, because we did not have fossil fuels in Sri Lanka, but we are blessed with renewables. So the next era is ours. We were far behind because we had no fossil fuels, we had to import, but future is ours. So instead of depending on outdated technologies, we should explore the future, for which we should be geared so that we can achieve the status we are supposed to achieve in the renewable energy era and sustainable energy era. So for that, I think the government policies are in place. Now the regulator is getting the opinion from different stakeholders and showing the weaknesses and strengths of each and every proposal and coming with their conclusions. So what's essential is for the CEB to adhere to the decisions made and go ahead with those decisions, so that we will be smoothly in a transition from fossil fuel era to the renewable energy era. For that purpose, I don't think we should allow few people, a trade union to dictate terms on the nation, on our future generations. Right. So whenever we discuss about coal, we are only proposing an outdated technology for the future, which will be definitely a burden. So for us, it's essential that no one should dictate terms on science and knowledge, and we should allow the process to happen democratically.
All right. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for joining us on Face the Nation today. I'd like to thank Mr. Asoka Abegunawardena, Executive Director, Strategic Enterprise Management Agency, Dr. Suren Batagoda, Secretary, Ministry of Power and Renewable Energy, also Mr. Damit Kumar Singha, Director General of the Public Utilities Commission of Sri Lanka, and finally Dr. Nishandi Mel, Executive Director, Verite Research. I'd also like to thank Nadim Majid, Charita Fernando and Nanel Jayawardena for asking all the questions that need to be asked. Wow, that was quite a discussion. So we can, I think, look forward to enhancing renewable energy in Sri Lanka, address gaps in policy and regulations, and also promote regional cooperation. Perhaps we'll be able to discuss that on another edition of Face the Nation. Thank you so much for joining us. Take care and good night.